Hello, everybody. My name is Anthony D. Brice, empowerment coach, founder of the Empower Group, and welcome to your year of breakthrough. How would you like to finally start to get some control over your life? Get some control over your circumstances and the things that happen to you, the things that you get and the things that you don't get. I know a lot of us feel powerless to life and feel like things are pretty much on automatic and we're just living, we're just here, we're just existing. And we don't have any say-so in what happens or what we get or what we don't get and what kind of life experiences that we have. I mean, some of us feel so bad that we literally feel like we're slaves to our circumstances, meaning that we feel like we don't have any control. We feel like we're just chained down and locked down to our circumstances, and we're just doing whatever we can do to try to just to make it to the next day, just to be able to say that I made it, just surviving and not really thriving and being able to do the things that we want. And a lot of us feel like, we look at our lives and we're not living the kind of lives that we envision for ourselves. That life that when we used to sit back on the porch or just sit back and just dream about what our life should be like or what our life would be like or what we want our life to be like. And we look around and the life that we're living looks nothing like that. And I know a lot of people, when they think about success, they think about money and resources. If I had more money, my circumstances would change. If I had more resources, I would be able to do this. I wouldn't have all the stress. I wouldn't have all this pressure. But we know when we look at people who actually have money and they still have problems. I mean, a lot of us have that money and still feel empty and feel like they're missing something. So what that means is that, money is not going to solve your problem. Resources is not going to solve your problem. I mean, if you did have more money, you would be able to do more things from a financial standpoint, but it still wouldn't necessarily equal a happy life. So what you really want is not the money or the resources itself, but what that money and those resources will be able to give to you. And that thing that money and those resources will be able to give to you is freedom. Freedom to be able to do what you want with your time. Freedom to be able to use your time and do the things that you want to do, the things that you enjoy, the things that make life worth living. Whether you want to spend more time with your family, you want to travel more. I mean, a lot of us feel like we're locked into the time, like we don't have any control over our time. Whether we have to go to work or we have other responsibilities that we create for ourselves. And at sometime in between that year, we may get a week or a couple days that we feel like, I can take a vacation or these couple days are going to use for myself. But we know that that's not the ideal life that we want for ourselves. We don't want to be able to work 360 days and have 5 days that we can actually give to ourselves. And we know that we deserve more. And when I think about this, there are 3 types of people that really come to mind. And, some of you will fit into one of the 3, and some of us will fit into 2 or maybe all of them. Maybe you were someone who always felt like you had it tough or you had it rough or the odds were always stacked against you from the beginning. That, you may have came from a certain environment or a certain neighborhood or a certain culture and so certain circumstances that you always feel like you had to run faster or you had to jump higher or you had to work 2, 3, 4 times as hard as everyone else based on your circumstances. And you look at yourself now and you think, you know what, I survived that. But deep down, you feel like, even though I survived those circumstances and I'm still here, there's still more out there for me. There's still more to life for me. And you just want to do what you can do or figure out what can you do, what change can you make to be able to start to live the kind of life that you know that you deserve. Or maybe you're one of those people who did what you were supposed to do, meaning that they told us if you get an education, you go to school, you make good grades, and you go to college and get an education and you get that degree. And when you get that degree, you'll be able to get a good job and live a good life. And how many of us did those things? How many of us went to school and made the good grades and we went to college and got that degree and we come out of college and we're working, we're going to work early and we're leaving work late, we're working overtime, and we're putting in so much work, but we turn around, we look, and we're not living that quality of life that we feel like that was promised. We're not living that quality of life that we were told that if we do these things, this is the level of success that you can have, and you don't feel like you have that level of success based on the work that you put in. Or maybe you're just someone that feel like you're just living way below your potential. You know there's more out there. You know that you can do more. You know that you can accomplish more. You know that you were meant for more. But for some reason, you feel like you're living way below your potential. Or you don't even know what your potential is. You just feel like you're just here. You're just existing. You're not living. You're not going after things. You're not doing the things that you need to do to get to where you want to be. And you know that there's something inside of you that's telling you, hey, you can do more. You can be more. You can have more success. You can do these things. You turn on the television, you look at internet, you look at social media, you look at all these things and you see it could be done. How are you any different? How are you any different from them? These things sometimes feel like they're overnight, and sometimes they don't take a lifetime. But how are you different that you can accomplish those same things? You look around and you think to yourself, there has to be more out there for me. This isn't the life that I envision for myself. And you're sick and tired of settling for what life is giving you or the life experience you have now. You're tired of settling and you're ready to finally get what you deserve. And it's not out of your reach. You can have those things. You can have that kind of life. It's not a fantasy. You see it done all the time. You can have that multi-million-dollar company. You know, you can have that dream career where you're doing a job that you love to do and you love to go to every day. You can have that kind of relationship that's full of happiness and fulfillment and love, and something that you feel like that's just been escaping you all your life. You can have those things. You can achieve that dream, that thing that you wanted to do since you were little. You can make those things happen, or just spend your valuable time doing the things that you enjoy doing most. And you can have those things, and they're closer than you expect. So a lot of times we talk about we want a break. Man, I can't catch a break. I just can't get over that hump. If I can just get over this hump, things will be different. But I suggested to you that you don't want a break. A break is temporary. A break is something that, hey, you know, I got this unexpected good thing that happened and I can make it the next week, or I can make it through next month and I'll be okay. So what happened when next week comes around? You're back in the same thing. What happened when next month comes around? You're back in the same circumstances, feeling the same way, looking for another break. So instead of looking for a lifetime of breaks, how about a breakthrough? Something more permanent, something that not only changes your circumstances, but changes your life. I know you're ready to break those chains. I know you're ready for things to be different. I know you're ready to live a different kind of lifestyle, just not even just wanting something over and above. You know, a lot of us just want to be comfortable. They don't want to have to worry about living check to check. They don't want to have to worry about what's going on and happening with their family, not being able to provide for their families, and just not being able to have the necessities that so many other people take for granted. A lot of times that's all that a lot of people want. They want to be able to have even that level of life, and they'll be happy with that. So instead of waiting on breaks, what we're going to learn to do is create our own breakthrough. Create our own breakthroughs in our life so we can create those things. So we don't have to live the kind of life that other people are living or other people say that we should live or can live. We're going to be able to write our own rules. We're going to be able to create our own rules and be able to create our own life. How would you like to no longer have to wait to see what happens, or it may be okay, and if things may work out okay, or I might be all right, and just going from week to week, not knowing what kind of life you're going to be living, or if you're going to be living at all. That's not a way to live. To me, that's not even living. So we're going to learn how to create our own breakthrough in our lives. We're not going to wait for people to give us a break or wait for people to give us things or to hand us things. We're going to create those things in our own life. And I believe that the things that you're going to learn are going to be valuable. And if used in the right way, it can change your life forever. change your habits, change your attitude, change your mindset, change the way you see life, change the way you see yourself. It will not only change your mindset and your attitude, but you will create an energy around you that will be able to attract the kind of things that you actually want in your life and stop attracting the things that you don't want. We will learn how to focus on the things that we want and to stop focusing on the things that we don't want, to keep attracting all of the things that have a negative impact on our lives. And speaking of all those circumstances I told you earlier, I had to live through all of those things. So I know it's possible. I came up in a rough neighborhood, or a neighborhood that was surrounded by, violence and drugs and things like that. And I never judged my circumstances or judged those people or the things that were going around me for that, but I had a different vision. But I had to grow up around those circumstances and that environment, yet and still. I did what they said I was supposed to do. I got good grades and I'm in advanced classes, and I was one of the top students in my high school graduation class. I went on to college and I got a degree, and I got multiple degrees. And, going to bed late and waking up early, and when everybody else was doing all these other things, I'm working on my dream and working on my vision and trying to make these things happen for a long time. And it got to a point where I looked around and I was nowhere near where I was supposed to be, where I felt like I was supposed to be. Or I didn't have the level of success that they said came with that kind of work ethic. I didn't get the success that came with somebody who did what they supposed to do in school and didn't get in trouble outside of school, and they stayed focused on the thing that they were supposed to do, and they go to school and they do their work and they get good grades and they get that degree and do all of those things they said I was supposed to do, but yet and still I'm in the same circumstances as the people who didn't do any of the things that I did. They didn't have the level of quote unquote education that I have. And I'm still in the same circumstances as they are. So I did those things as well. I looked around and I knew what I was capable of. I knew the things that I could accomplish. I've tasted that level of success and I knew what I can do. But my circumstances and my life experience didn't look like that. It didn't look like that vision. You couldn't tell me by the time I was 25 that I wouldn't be on my way to be CEO of this big corporate company. How many people that have a degree and they've never worked a job in that degree? I'm one of those people. I have 2 degrees and I've never had a job with a company that has anything to do with those degrees. And when you take all of that into consideration, especially over the past 5-10 years or so, and you look at your situation, and when you look at your past and you think about all the things that you went through and all the things you had to do to get here, and when those things add up and you look around and you're no better off, and a part of you feel like you're worse off, you can hit rock bottom. And that's what I did. I mean, feeling depressed and feeling like all that work I did and all those things that I did was for nothing. And it wasn't until that I was feeling like I was at the bottom. For me, I went from, I've had things and I lost. I went from living in a house, nice house, to sleeping on my friend's couch for a year. I had to went from my house to sleeping on my friend's couch for a year, getting myself together. And from there, I was able to really look at myself and really figure out who I am and what I wanted. So I know that the principles and the things that I'm going to talk about and the things that you're going to learn can change your life. In a matter of 2 years, I've reconnected with the love of my life. I've gotten married. I've bought a house. And I just had my first son 3 months ago. And even with me doing this video, I'm doing what I always wanted to do, and that was to empower people. That was to take people who've had dreams and aspirations and goals and who've been there and who feeling like they can't accomplish these things and they can't feel like their life was meant to be something less, and only certain people or certain circumstances, certain people were meant to live a certain level or quality of life. To tell them that all of those things that you see, all of those things that you dream, those visions that you have are for a reason. They are meant for you. And meaning that you have what it takes to accomplish those things. You just need the right motivation, the right insight, the right tools to make those things happen. And I've been blessed to not only be able to help myself with these things, but I've been able to help hundreds of people to change their lives. I've helped people who felt like they were in loveless marriages and they were on the verge of divorce to be able to turn those things around and be able to live a happy marriage. I've helped people to start new businesses and get over their fear to be able to get out there and go back to school or start a new career or just decide to put themselves out there to go find love. And the one thing that usually keeps people from doing these things is it's not money and it's not resources and it's not people. The main thing that keeps people from doing these things is fear. And fear is not true. Fear is something that you've given a lot of energy to that never existed or may never exist. Fear is just the body's warning system to try to avoid pain. And that's really all it is. When you think about all the things that you were ever scared of or afraid of, it was just your system, your body, your mind, your internal system trying to avoid pain, or anything that you associate with pain, it was trying to avoid that. And that's all it is. And the crazy thing is that fear, you're trying to avoid something that has never even happened. And it becomes so real because you create that inside of you, and fear itself can be a scary thing if you let it. I mean, fear paralyzes you. Fear has your system going crazy. It has your adrenaline pumping. It has you sweating. It has your body going through all these different chemical changes, and your body and your mind are trying to avoid those changes and avoid those things going on in your body. And that's what causes you to even have that fear and to increase that fear and to make it worse than it actually is. So I'm going to give you something to help you to understand that fear and how fear can actually be a benefit to you than a disadvantage. So there's actually 3 benefits, actual benefits to fear. The first benefit is fear heightens your senses. Fear takes whatever the thing is that you're trying to avoid, and it makes you become present. You're right there. You're very aware of what's going on, and you're very aware of that situation. And you think about it, a lot of times, especially these days, our mind is always different places. We're multitasking. We're thinking about tomorrow. We're thinking about next week. We're thinking about what we're having for dinner or, what we're going to do this weekend. And a lot of times we're not present. We're not right here in the moment to be able to fully absorb and fully feel the moment, to really be able to take an accurate assessment of what's going on so we can, act accordingly or react accordingly. So fear heightens those senses and makes us present and makes us pay attention to what's going on right in front of us. The other thing that fear does, or the second thing, is that fear prepares us. When you think about it like sports. If you're going to compete against somebody, and even if you may not have a direct fear of them, but you may fear losing, you may fear looking bad, you may fear not looking good, you may fear not performing. And in that, you're going to make sure you're prepared. Your body and your system is going to be well aware of that. And you're going to make sure that you are more prepared than you would if you didn't have that healthy fear for that situation or for that person or for that circumstance. So fear helps you become even more prepared than you would have been if you weren't present and conscious of that situation. Third thing that fear does is that fear focuses us. Fear makes you focus, laser focus on whatever that thing is. Just think about it when something that you were scared of, or even as a young child, maybe if there was a bully or you were scared of, the thing in the closet or under the bed or whatever that thing is that you feared. That was the one. You couldn't think about anything else clearly. And anytime you tried to think about or focus on anything else, that fear would bring you right back to that thing or that circumstance or whatever that thing you were trying to avoid. So fear makes you focus. Fear makes you take whatever that thing is and it puts it right in front of you. It makes you detail and get all the clarity and details and descriptions and everything about that circumstance. Fear plays back whatever that thing is in your head. So it makes you more focused, so you don't have a choice but to pay attention to it. So when it comes to fear or anything else, whatever you believe to be true is usually true. If you feel like you're not gonna have something or you're not gonna be something or something bad is gonna happen, then it's true. Then more than likely, you're gonna create that reality. On the other hand, if you feel like good things are gonna happen, or I'm gonna do great at this thing, or I'm gonna accomplish this thing, I'm gonna achieve this goal, or whatever that thing is I'm gonna do, if that's how you feel, if that's what you truly believe, then it's true. So whatever you believe to be true is usually true. But you have to establish a belief system that empowers and not disempowers. You have to take control over your own circumstances, over your own situation, and not blame it on external situations, not blame it on external sources, meaning that you're not blaming it on other people, you're not blaming it on your circumstances, you're not blaming it on what you have, you're not blaming it on what you don't have. You're taking 100% responsibility for what happens to you or what doesn't happen to you, what you get and what you don't get. That is what's going to empower you to be able to achieve these things. That is what's going to empower you to overcome any circumstance, any situation, anything that happens to you. This is what's going to give you the power to be able to face it, not only face it and overcome it, but come through it better than you were when you went into it. So how do you free yourself? You free yourself by deciding that no matter what happens, you're going to keep going the same direction. You're going to keep doing the same things. You're going to still keep taking those same steps in that same direction, no matter what happens. That's where your power comes. I mean, this is not to say that things are not going to happen. We always know life's going to happen regardless. So it's not a point of life happening or not happening. It's who you are when life happens. Who are you going to be when life happens? When those circumstances change, when things are good, it's easy to be in good spirit when things are good. When things are bad or things don't go your way, that's the true test. That's when you truly find out who you are. If you really want to find out who a person is, see who that person is when they're going through a trial, when they're going through a tribulation, when things are not going that way. They feel like they're not catching a break. Who they are then will really decide what kind of person they are, what's inside of them, and who they decided to be. It's a decision. You have a choice. You could decide to let these circumstances control you, take your power, or you could take your power back and take control over your own situations and understand that no matter what happens, I'm going to take control. And that's what courage is. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the presence of fear, but yet the ability to still keep going forward. So how do you get a breakthrough? How do you create this breakthrough in your life? And as with anything of great importance, the only way to get there is to create change. And I know a lot of times we get comfortable where we are, we get comfortable with how things are, and we try to do the same things over and we're expecting a different result. They say that's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting different results. So you're going to have to change your mindset. You're going to have to change some habits. You're going to have to change the way you perceive things and to change the way you view things. And this is how we get there. So the first thing we have to do is get a clear vision. We have to get a crystal clear vision of what we want. what we want our life to be like. What do we want to have in our life? What experiences do we want to have? What do we want our environment and our circumstances to look like? If we don't have a clear vision, or we don't know what that looks like, how can we ever get it? And that's the thing. A lot of times we don't have a clear vision. We don't have a vision at all, and surprised when we're not getting anything. But you are getting. You're getting exactly what you asked for. You get exactly what you vision, and that's nothing. Or at least not the circumstances that you want. So when your year of breakthrough, we're gonna learn how to get a clear vision. We're gonna learn how to get down to the basics and get down to the details of creating a clear picture, not only in our minds, but getting it out there to the universe, getting a clear picture of exactly what we want our lives to look like. So that's the first thing we're gonna learn. The second thing we're gonna learn is how to plan for change. And it's one thing to plan and it's one thing to be busy. It's another thing to plan for the expectancy of things to change, for the expectancy of things to be different. So there's a different mindset and there's different habits and there are different strategies. There's a different perception that you have when you go into it and you're planning for change. You're planning for things to get better. You're planning for your circumstances to improve. So that's the second thing that we're going to talk about. The third thing we're going to talk about is how to identify, address, and overcome obstacles. And this probably be one of the most important things that we're going to learn doing this challenge or this course is how to address these obstacles, how to identify these obstacles. Because if you don't know it's an obstacle, if you don't know something is hindering you from doing something, you don't know something is holding you back, you don't know something is keeping you from the life that you want, something is keeping you from your dreams, something's keeping you from your aspirations. If you don't know that, if you can't see that, if you're blind to that, and if you're not aware, then it's impossible for your circumstances to change. So we're gonna be able to identify those things and really be honest with ourselves and really get those things and put them out there so we can get past them once and for all. Next thing we're gonna learn is how to be present and live with passion. And so what does that mean? Being present just means being here. I know myself, I've been so guilty of either living in the past or living in the future, meaning that I'm dragging past situations, whether good or bad. If things were good, I wish I could go back. I wish things were like that. If they were bad, pulling those, those circumstances and those emotions and that baggage. And a lot of us have a bad habit of pulling old baggage into the present and wonder why things aren't changing. So we're going to learn how, even in the midst of chaos, even in the midst of life happening or things not going our way, we're going to learn how to be present, just to be able to be in the moment and to live in the moment and appreciate it, just to be able to be still and to be able to see things as they are. And I think what you will gain is a heightened perception and a heightened perspective and vision of yourself and see some things that you were too busy before to even realize. And I think you'll learn a lot about yourself. The other thing, we're going to learn how to live with passion. Not only passion in the sense of emotion, but just being able to enjoy life, to be able to be happy about something, to be positive about something, to be able to have some life in you. That's really what passion is about. What are you passionate about? Meaning that what makes you feel most alive? What makes you feel like you're excited and happy to be here? So we're really going to explore those things and really figure out what you're passionate about and what your passion is and how to bring it out. And not only bring it out temporarily, but how to keep that passion going and just to wake up passionate about life and to having that excitement. How fun, how great would that be? And lastly, we're going to talk about the strategies to maintain these things. You're going to learn a lot of things over these next 30 days or so that can potentially just change your life forever. You can take these small things, implement them into your life, understand them, put them into action and actually make some drastic improvements, some quantum leaps in your life and where you are in your life. I mean, just imagine you're one place this month and you look up a month and 2 months or even this time next year and your circumstances have drastically changed. I mean, isn't that what we all want? We don't want to turn around and we're in the exact same circumstances that we were a year from now. But I want to take it a step further. I want us to look at where we are even a week or just say a month from now and look a month, 30 days ahead and look at where we are. Look at our mindset. Look at our energy. Where are we? Are we taking any steps? Do we feel closer to our goal? Do we feel like we're a step closer to where we want to be? Because that's really what it's all about. Because if you feel like you're either stagnant, not moving, or you feel like you're going backwards, that's what gets you depressed. That's what makes you feel like your life is less. That must make you feel like you're less and you don't deserve these things. And, it's going to help you to understand your self-worth and understand your value and understand your potential. So we'll learn these strategies to not only do that, but those strategies to stay motivated. Sometimes it's hard to stay motivated. And we know that when we don't have motivation, we don't have that energy. It's like when you want to work out and you don't feel motivated, more than likely you're not going to make it to the gym. You're not going to make it to that workout, But when you're motivated, that motivation gives you energy. It keeps you going. And even when you want to stop, that motivation keeps you going all the way to the finish line. And so what we're going to do and what we're going to learn is how to maintain that motivation, have consistent motivation, not just over a couple of hours, but over weeks and months and years, and hopefully over a lifetime. You're going to learn how to tap into that creative force, to tap into what's inside of you, tap into that thing that you felt for years, that thing and that feeling that just won't go away. What I've learned is that if you have something that's on your heart and something that's in your mind and something that's in your spirit and it won't go away, that's what you're supposed to do. How many times have you tried to stop doing this thing or not use this talent or not go after this dream? And every time you put it down, it keeps calling you back and calling you back. And you keep putting it down, you keep picking it back up. Stop putting it down. There's a reason that's put on your spirit. That's a reason that thing is on your heart. And we're going to figure out how to tap into what's already inside of you and take that thing and bring it to the world. Because I'm sure whatever it is that you want to do, you're trying to do will not only be a blessing to you and to your family, but I think it's something that you have that can give back to the world and add value to the world. And that's really what it's all about. How many times have you seen people and they may look like you, they may come from similar circumstances as you, but you feel like something's different. Something's different with them. Why do some people achieve? Why do some people seem so happy and so carefree? And stuff just seems to be attracted to them. Good things tend to be attracted to them. And you don't know why. Why do those people have those things? And I tell you what it is. Those people understand the principles and laws when it comes to the things that govern our life. And you're going to learn how to tap into that creative force in you to be able to be a magnet to the things that you actually want in your life. Like I said, I understand if you're in a place where things are not going the way you want them to go, you just can't catch a break. You're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you just don't know what to do. You don't know where to turn. This is for you. This program is for you. You can take these things and within a short period of time, it can open your eyes and make a drastic improvement on your life and on yourself, and learn how to constantly improve yourself. I mean, that's what it did for me. Like I said, I was sleeping on the couch, and I remember just one night just looking around, and like yesterday I was in my bed in my house. I had my yard, I had my relationship, and I was content. I felt like this is this is good. I'm in a good place. It's not like I made it, but in comparison to a lot of people that I know in a lot of circumstances, and like you make it feel like you're doing okay. At least you're on your way. And just like that, circumstances totally change. I'm on the couch and my relationship is gone, and I'm looking around at myself and trying to figure out how I got here. How did I get here? What did I do? What I didn't do? And being taken down has a way of humbling you and making you reflect on yourself and who you are and your decisions that you made. And it makes you take a hard look. And some people take their hard look and they get up and they do the same things and end up right back in the same situations over and over again. But what this program is about and what these principles is about breaking that chain, breaking through that cycle and start to create those good things and those positive things and just start living the quality of life that you deserve, to have that freedom to be able to do what you want to do with your time, not to be living on somebody else's clock and somebody else's time to tell you when you can spend time with your family, when you can, go to your son's or child's sporting event, when you can take a vacation, when you can do all these things. This is about taking your power back. This is about understanding the power that you have inside of you that you may not realize, and taking control of your life, giving you control of your life that you probably even didn't know that you had. I want to thank you for taking the time out to watch this video about your year of breakthrough and the Breakthrough Challenge. I hope that the information served you. I hope you got something from it. I hope you learned something. I hope that it made you really think about some things and to really start to think about some things that you can do to start really taking control of your life and over your circumstances and really starting to have a say-so in what happens to you. So if that's something that you want, if you want to stop waiting for breaks and waiting for things to happen and waiting for people to do things for you or waiting for things just to automatically to get better, if you're ready to start taking control of those things, then this challenge is for you. So I implore you to sign up for the challenge, put your name and your email in. So if you have any other questions or comments, be sure to leave them in the comments below. So you know what they say about knowledge? Knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power, meaning that anybody can tell you anything, give you just the greatest information. But if you don't take action on it, if you don't do anything with it, then that knowledge has no power. Not until you take action. So if you're ready to take action, if you're ready to stop waiting, if you're ready to start creating these changes and these behavioral things and change your mind and to enlighten yourself and just to get better and to generally improve, then take the challenge. Sign up below. I look forward to working with you. I look forward to hearing about the changes and the great things that are happening in your life. And stay tuned for some more great things. We're going to have some giveaways and just some great things are going to be coming. So sign up. I look forward to working with you soon.